Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email us, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase, pricing, and availability questions concerning this watch. Today, we're discussing a 33-piece limited edition released by Greubel Forsey in 2017. This is the Balancier. It is a reductivist Greubel Forsey, stripping the Greubel legend down to the essence of its ethic. Quality, detail, respect for history, and beauty. You get all of this despite the fact that the watch is, at face value, a three-hander with a power reserve. But don't be deceived, God is in the details. So this watch is 43.5 millimeters in diameter in white gold, 33-piece limited edition. This one has probably the best serial number you could get. I would say, in general, I love to get the first or the last of a series. It helps that my lucky numbers are 11 and multiples of 11, so you can see this one satisfies both. The watch is big, though maybe not huge. It's 52 millimeters from lug tip to lug tip, 14.4 millimeters thick, and has a 22 millimeter spacing between the lugs. I believe that my wrist, which is flat across the top and 16 centimeters circumference, can wear this just fine. It's big, certainly, but big is part of the look with Greubel Forsey. Think of it not as a large watch, but as a small museum of La Chaux-de-Fonds watchmaking heritage. It's a small vitrine for the works of art contained within. A good look, the further you get away from my wrist, basically the more I zoom out, the better it looks proportionally. It will fit underneath jacket cuffs, just maybe not the tightest of dress sleeves. Here we have a lovely calfskin strap. You can see light brown with a contrasting, somewhat jaundiced stitch. Sheer cut and profile. They are not shorting you, the leather. Lacquered for refinement. We have a little contrasting binding stitch right there. Greubel Forsey factory strap. No crimping, no gouging. A brand new Greubel factory strap. We have a white gold pin buckle. And you can see that it features a polished pin, satin flanks, satin top, and then a lovely polished bevel. We talk a lot about Greubel Forsey dials, a lot about the movements. We often don't acknowledge how nuanced some of the cases are. This is one area where Robert Greubel really makes his eye for detail seen. Looking in profile, there's a little bit of a concave to these polished lugs, and you can see the super sharp break between the satin of the caseband, and let me remove my surly unwelcome fingerprints here, and the polish of the lug. That's a wonderful contrast right there in a juxtaposition. We have a small viewport where you can appreciate that 3 Hertz oscillator pounding away, and then a crown where the Greubel Forsey lettering has been lacquered internally. The bezel is domed, and you can see it is contoured around the balance. The dial, like the movement on many Greubel Forsey watches, features a frosting that's achieved with a stiff bristled wire brush. Think of the kind of brush you'd use to clean off a grill at a barbecue. Those super stiff steel bristles are dabbed on and off and on and off to create this incredibly fine matrix of divots. The scales for the time and the power reserve are made of white gold, and so is this outer dial portion where you can see the scale for the hours. Then we've got fired blue hands. Note that the center, including the cannon pinion, mirror polished. One of the elements you pay for with Greubel Forsey is that exacting attention to detail, an unerring eye for perfection. You could see that around the edge of the dial we have mirrored beveling, and that the details pop from absolutely every angle. You can see the seam between the two parts of the dial and the beveling between them. And then we get to the bridge for the balance. Now this balance is large, at 12.6 millimeters in diameter, and here's a feature you rarely see on a Greubel Forsey watch. Don't blink and you'll miss it. Or I should say, don't blink or you'll miss it. But I'm going to hold things where they are. Hacking seconds on a Greubel Forsey, very uncommon. Very uncommon. So not only do I have the ability to set this watch to the second against a reference, but I can appreciate that proprietary recessed screw free-sprung balance. It recesses the screws from the free airstream to remove as much as possible the impact of aerodynamic drag on timing, but also it's a more durable shock-resistant system because although a mobile stud index can be displaced by shock, it's very difficult to twist the screws in the balance, even under concussive effect. So it's a more shock-resistant Greubel Forsey. You could see that the bridge is actually huge. So we have this huge mirror-polished and beveled steel structure, and then these two arms that are rounded and mirrored, very difficult treatment to achieve. This structure right here probably requires somewhere between 10 and 15 hours of finish to to achieve. You can also see that it's a free-sprung balance because there is no mobile stud holder. And then if you look carefully, you can see that it's an overcoil hairspring, which helps to center the mass of the hairspring. So in different positions, the watch will operate with isochronism. An isochronous watch is a consistent timekeeper across time and different orientations. It beats away at 3 Hertz, so 21,600 vibrations per hour. Look at the attention to detail. Now, difficult to capture because the autofocus is on here, but look at the bridge for the escapement below the plane of the balance. That's the kind of substructure where a lot of brands will cut costs or cut corners. Here you can see it's beveled and mirrored just like the primary balance bridge. Deeply impressive stuff. If you wish, you can wind, and there are 2 barrels here. As you energize them, the power reserve indicator will traverse towards 72 hours. So that is the power reserve here. And Greubel Forsey likes to mention that they are fast turning barrels, which helps to flatten out the torque curve so you don't have a surge and then an ebb of timekeeping. So it's not going to gain a lot of time when fully wound. It's not going to start losing time or balance amplitude after 24, 36, 48 hours. 30 meters water resistant, so please don't go swimming with it. By the way, the movement is huge. At Greubel Forsey, movements fit cases in a hand-and-glove fashion. Greubel is a true manufacturer. So the movement is 36.4 millimeters. Think about that for a second. The movement in this watch is bigger than a standard Rolex Datejust. Around the back again, folks ask me, what is all this text? Well, let's say you don't have the time or the AI capability to translate this in bulk. I'm just going to sum it up by saying these are the traditions of fine Swiss watchmaking, the values to which Greubel Forsey and their entire manufacturer adhere, and all of it's in French. So you can see they are exclusive, they are watchmakers, they keep the time, they are creative, they strive for perfection, bien facture, beautiful manufacturing or beautiful decoration. All of this and then some. If you want to know what they believe, you can translate all of that. I gave you a close enough look, or you can just look and realize that those values are self-evident. Once again, 30 meters water resistant, don't take it swimming, but for all other occasions, a fairly versatile watch by Greubel Forsey standards. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.